What's going on, guys? Isaiah here, coming at you guys with my Ss3 deck profile that I mentioned in the Facebook group. But before we kind of hop into it, first things first, I'd like to really thank you guys for watching my previous video. For those who did watch it, thanks for the likes, even thanks for the dislike. I accept any type of feedback, whether it's positive or negative. And that's the same thing I want for this video. If you like it, leave a like, leave a comment as to why you liked it. If you disliked it, leave the dislike. I appreciate that. Just also, kind of tell me why you disliked it, whether it be because of the audio, the video quality, any of those types of things. Um, but that's enough of that. Let's hop into the deck. So this is the SS3 deck that, like I said, I was mentioning on the Facebook group. It is to me a fun deck, and it potentially has some competitive viability. So I know the first thing you guys are looking at is like, man, this deck looks really expensive. You got Ultra Instinct Goku's, you got Boonies, you got his Deadly Vanguards, you have the Sand Instinct Goku's on top of how much potentially the Unisons are probably going to cost. Yes, that is a thing. But I come from a game like Yu-Gi-Oh, where sometimes your fun deck is expensive, and it just is that way sometimes. But if you don't have or you can't afford some of these cards, there are some other cards that I'll show at the end of the video that you can potentially use to replace some of these things. But like I said, let's hop into the video or hop into the deck. So first off, our leader. Front side, when he attacks, you take a card from your hand, put it under your deck, ramp a card from your life into your energy. The Awaken is draw one. It's not as good, of course, as the previous SS3, but it is what it is. Backside, when you attack, draw one, gain plus 5k. End of your turn, untap 3 mono blue energy. And of course, you cannot charge or place cards into your energy past 6. So you are kind of limited in that regard, but we built the deck around that, so it's fine. All right, so first up, we have D Magic, best blue negate in the game. If you're playing blue, you probably should be playing D Magic. Next up is the Ultra Instinct Kamehameha, the attacker. So this card is great. Most of our deck is mono blue. Of course, if you do kind of charge that yellow energy, don't worry, you can play around it or move around that. But this card gives, if your leader is a blue, it gives a leader or a battle card plus 15k. If it's your opponent's turn, you untap energy. If it's your turn, you draw one card when you use it. So this card has, really good overall for what this deck tries to do. Next up, the Zeno Super Combo. We play 4 of these over any of the other ones. So what it does is when you play it, you draw one. It's a 1-drop. Really good. If your life is at 5 or less, you get to take a card from your energy, put it into your hand, and then you get to take a card from your hand and put it into your energy. So this card kind of works in multiple ways. So not only if you accidentally charge an ape, you can take that ape out of your energy to potentially use like Kamehameha, or you can take a threat that you may have charged earlier in the game, or a threat that you might have accidentally charged off of your leader's front side. So you can kind of use this card in multiple ways. It's really, really strong as a super combo. Next up, our Vegeta, SSB Vegeta. This is a new card from, I think either the Structure deck or Set 10. If your leader card is a blue Saiyan, he gains crit. Great. He's 15k. When he's KO'd, you can draw a card till he replaces himself, and he could potentially get a +1 by adding a Unison from your drop area back to your hand. So this card is really, really good in value, and it's definitely a 4 of. Next up is the Android 18. She comes out of the, I think, Draft Box 5 maybe. She's a 3-drop. When you play her, you draw 2 cards. So she's essentially a Saiyan Instincts Goku. For 3 energy, and she kind of works in tangent with the leader, because you can play her for 3, draw 2, and then untap 3. So she works really well on curve for what the leader wants to do. Next up, we got 3 Aboonies, best blue battle card in the game in terms of pressure, and not many cards in the game can, like, of course, not stop him, but stop him plus the tokens. So this card is really, really amazing. Next up, we got the Ultra Instinct Son Goku. or the Ultra Instinct Goku counterplay. Arguably the best counterplay in the game. I know it costs 4, so it's a little bit off curve, but with some of the cards that we have in the deck, like I said, with D Magic, we got a Booney with his skill. We have Dragon Fist, we have Kefla, so we can potentially get the 4 energy up. Next up is Hit Deadly Vanguard. Like I said, everything about this kind of works on curve. So for 3 energy, the same 3 energy that we untap with our leader, we can play a Hit Deadly Vanguard. Stops a 5-drop and then bounces a 5-drop. So 2 for 1 for 3 energy. Next up, the new Trunks counterplay. We're trying to drop a Unison early on in the game, like turn 3, potentially turn 4, of course. We're trying to drop Unisons. So most of our Unisons should have more than 2 markers on them and be blue. So you can stop the battle card that's coming into play, or if it's not a battle card that's a threat, if your opponent's just playing little small weenies, you can play this card from your hand and use, do some kind of like tricks and stuff like that with it. Next up is Ultimate Fusion Gogeta, arguably the best 5-drop blue card in the game. That's an actual 5-drop. Sparking 5, so it's not too costly. Cost 5, you draw 2 cards, spin 2 dudes, 25k double strike, so not a lot of counterplays also hit him as well. So the card's pretty much just value, and he helps with getting our hand advantage up as well, while also getting rid of 2 threats. Next up is Dragon Fist. Card's really good. So one of the reasons why we try to play this card instead of something else is because this card kind of helps you play on a weird curve. So you can play this for 6, swing, untap 2 energy, bounce a dude, and then you can either play a 2-drop Vegeta, you can play a super combo if you're trying to combo off your game. You can play like 2 Kamehamehas. You can play, because he has barrier, you can also play a Gogeta Unison. So now they have to get rid of your Gogeta Unison, or they have to somehow kill a 25k barrier dude, or they can't deal damage to your leader. You can use a Saiyan Instincts, and then at the end of your turn, you can still just draw 2. So it's really, really great. Last battle card that we actually play is the Energetic Kefla. So this card essentially is for every blue battle card that you have in your battle area, she costs 1 less. So at best she can become a 3-drop. At worst she's like a 6-drop. You play her, and then activate main. You draw 2 cards, and then at the start of your opponent's turn you untap 2 energy. So she essentially is an untapped 5 going into your opponent's turn with this leader. Which is amazing. So it allows us to play so many counter plays, to play defensively. It's so good. Now for the Unisons, we have 2 Gogetas. We're not trying to play that defensively. We don't play, a very large amount of Saiyans. We do play Saiyans, but, they're not, it's not the entire theme of the deck. So this isn't a card that you definitely want to play like 3 or 4 of, but 2 of, for those just in case matchups, you definitely need. And at worst, you can play them for 2. If your opponent did like an arrival play and their guy is just big, you can just spin the same 2 markers and pop the battle card, ignore barrier. Now the Gogeta, or the Gotenks, this card is the best Unison in your deck. So essentially for 4 energy, you either get to draw 2 cards, or you get to pop 3 markers, and you get to spin 2 dudes. I think he ignores barrier also. He's 20k, he's a blocker, and he's also dual attack. So this card does so much for a 4-drop. He's a blocker, dual attack, draw 2 cards, or pop 2 dudes. So he pressures Unisons, he's 20k, he can defend the leader from a base attack. If they want to kill him with, traditional battle cards, they have to combo up to kill him. This card is absolutely amazing, especially when you can untap 3 at the end of your turn. So another card, the last Unison that we do play, Zeno, you have to play this card. If you are playing blue, you need to play this card because it is it allows you to play a turn earlier if you play him on turn 2. going into the following turns, you get to play essentially a turn earlier. He is a 5 energy, just complete board wipe outside of indestructible. And in this deck, like I said, you get to untap 3, so I can pay 5, nuke your board, and then if I'm at 6 energy, I can untap 3 and go to 4 energy. This card is amazing. Also, rolling, for you guys that don't know, you can activate this Unison skill if you're even if you're at 6 or 6 energy, because the cost is just for you to have a mono blue leader. So you can activate the +2 marker skill even if you have 6 energy, because it's not going against the cost and you have to resolve as much as possible. So you just gain 2 markers for free if you just want to have the constant threat of having a board wipe for your opponent. So they might spend an entire turn just trying to deal with Zeno just to clear him off board so you can't board wipe. Of course, the last 3 cards are 3 Saiyan Instant Gokus. This deck has a hand advantage problem to a degree, or actually not even to a degree. It has a hand advantage problem, so you kind of need to play Saiyan Instinct Goku or some form of draw card. But that's essentially the main deck. If you guys want to know, some a few tech cards that you can play to kind of make the deck a little less expensive, then you can play stuff like this. So first off, we have Bergamo. This Bergamo essentially says, while he's in rest mode, your opponent's battle cards must attack him. So against opposing Obunis, all of their tokens have to combo up to deal damage or to kill it. The Obuni itself is just a 20k into him. But the best thing about him is your opponent can't attack your Unisons because he's with battle cards, of course. They can't attack your Unisons with battle cards because they must attack and kill Bergamo first. Next up, Gogeta 7. You can play Gogeta 7 with, like I said, at the bottom you see at all costs Vegeta. At the bottom you see the Uneasy Alliance Son Goku. So if you wanted to splash Gogeta 7 in this also, somehow it'd probably be a little later in the game when you'd be able to use him because he's sparking 10. But you can still use him later on in the game. So, if you want to bomb like him, you can play that. The Vegito powers combined. You play, a relatively decent amount of Son Gokus and Vegetas, and if you decide to make this a little cheaper, you can alter it and put in more or less. Essentially, if you have a Goku and Vegeta, you can swing with both of them, and then for 1 energy, play this, draw 2 cards, and now you have a 20k body on board. So this card is like really, really good, especially with the amount of Gokus and Vegetas that we just got from the starter decks and set 10. Next up, simple negate. You got Master Roshi. It's a good blue negate that gives you a 5k combo. So if you want to play this, it also works in tangent with the Kefla. You can negate, play this, and then if you're on 6 energy or if you have another battle card, you can go like Roshi negate into Uneasy Alliance negate. If you don't want to bounce it and you know your opponent's going to end their turn, now you can drop a Kefla for 5 energy. So if you want to do something, along those lines, you definitely can. And then the last card that you can kind of mess around with that I, thought of was the Son Goku Tenacious Warrior. So he's a Self-Awakener, and if your opponent kills it, you get to look at the top, I think, 5 or 7 cards of your deck, and you get to grab a Unison with a specified energy cost of 2. So you can grab, it's a Self-Awakener that potentially grabs you another card. So everything, for the most part, like that you're looking at, either pluses you cards to hand by drawing a card, or works in tangent with other cards in your deck. So, that's really what you want to look for in decks like these. Synergy, how well do these cards work with other cards in your deck? How well do these cards work with your leader in terms of like being played on curve? That's the type of stuff that you want to look at when you're building decks for set 10 now, because like deck building means everything now, especially with the extra 10 card limit. This deck is just 50, but if you would like to, you could play this deck at 60 and it would work, just fine as well. So that's pretty much the deck. Leave me some feedback, whether it's positive or negative. Like I said before, I appreciate all the feedback. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. I know the world's kind of ending right now, but it'll get back to normal sooner or later. So stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out, guys.